direction, and he definitely quickly shift gears.
By the way, the men too.
Yeah,
the men too, because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too.
yeah.
She said,
And guys, cutthroat, ruthless, Ayesha Curry. I'm just saying. I say what's good, YouTube. I say what's good, YouTube. I say what's good, YouTube. It's your boy 3 Stacks. Say what's good, YouTube. It's your boy 3 Stacks. What's good, YouTube? It's time to react. But I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm recording this at 4:15 in the morning because I'm leaving today, which y'all will be seeing this on Friday. I will be leaving, and I gotta go, I gotta go do something, you feel me? But without further ado, we know we was talking about the Ayesha Curry and Stephen Curry little debacle. So LeBron James has something to say about it subliminally, you feel me? So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Listen, I sit in the locker room. I'm in locker rooms and shit now. But, it's a lot of women out here that's now kind of flipped the script.
They go for it.
And some homies out here that's trying to be good too, and just trying to figure it out. And now they looking in the mirror saying, "Damn, what did I do wrong?"
Yeah.
But homies, it ain't you. Because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too.
Yeah.
Riva TV.
Ooh.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. So most recently, NBA star, which I think even that title kind of would not do it justice, but LeBron James actually ended up making an appearance on his wife's podcast. And during the conversation, they talked about various different things. Her conversations are very much like based off of the flow that they get in from callers. And there was a lot of things that he touched on, but one moment in particular in which he basically had called a lot of these women out here in these streets out, okay?
Right.
And it was under my own assumption and impression that maybe there was a little bit of conversation in regards to what's going on right now with the Steph and Ayesha conversation. We're going to go ahead and break it down. So I'm going to go ahead and insert clips and then give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, and my opinions on this entire conversation as we go through this together.
Hi, what's your name? Where are you from? And what's your crazy?
My name is Jess Douglas, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. And my crazy is anything.
You in a relationship?
Well, I dumped him.
You don't? Why y'all broke up?
I don't know. It wasn't going anywhere. It was like 30 years of like
30 years.
Baby, that's not a relationship. If you ain't getting a ring after 30 years, I don't know what to tell you. Jeez, people really be in relationships for 30 years, gang. And you said it won't go nowhere. You know it won't go nowhere after the 5th.
So as we can see, on the panel, it was Kai Cenat as well as Phantom and Taco there. And they were having like a guys edition of the podcast. And so they had the caller in and the caller came in and basically said, what's your crazy? She said anything and then talked about how she dumped a guy after being in a relationship with him for 30 years. So this then spawned a conversation during the podcast in which the one of the hosts actually asked a question to Kai Cenat, and that question was, do you know that the person or a girl that you're dating is the right one right away?
Boy, question.
All right, so before they answer this, I'm gonna put on my 2 cents. I think that off of the first date, like first off, before you even approach somebody, 9 times out of 10, based off of the way you approach them, is based off of if you want a relationship with them or not. Granted, you're not gonna know if you can be in a relationship with them, obviously, because you never talked to them. But off of that first date, knowing their vibe, and do your background research, because I promise, don't get caught up. But you will know what intention you come in there. If you come in there for a one night stand, you will come in there for a one night stand. But if you really want a relationship with that person, that's what you're gonna have to do.
Got a question. How quickly do you know when it ain't going nowhere?
Like 30 days. First day. First day?
First day?
Yes. Nah. Like first day meet up. Like first date, you'll know.
First date.
First date.
Oh,
Yeah,
first
yeah,
dates.
That's
I
true.
will
That's
say-
true.
So this then sparked the conversation of, that a lot of men know, and we've heard this a numerous amount of times, that men know from their first, one-on-one interaction with you if you are somebody that they can put into what category, right? If you are in the category of sleep with, if you are in the category of sneaking link, if you are in the category of wife, girlfriend, potential, like friend zone, they know based off of their observations, in a first date kind of setting, whatever, situation that might be, if you are a potential suitor, wife, mother of their kids from that first meeting.
But you feel like you can know you're going to be with somebody on the first date.
100%.
Yeah.
Forever?
No.
Yeah, man. You know
You don't know first date forever. But you know you can go on second date. You don't know forever. Yeah.
So again, naturally, they all gave their responses as to LeBron James and Kai Cenat being the two people who are actively in long-term relationships. All we know that LeBron is married and Kai Cenat is in a long-term relationship with his now girlfriend. And so, they were saying, it's just an innate thing that men are aware of. This then, sparked conversation with the host to ask, okay, well, how do people know when relationships should be over?
How do you know when it's over?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna put my 2 cents on every question. I think you know when it's over when you start feeling that you're changing in a negative way to accommodate the relationship. And when I say that, I mean like if you normally are not like an angry person, but you find yourself getting angrier as you're around this person, gang, it's time for you to leave. If you feel like something in a relationship is causing you to change your whole personality or the way you act in a negative way, or change the way you act towards other people in a negative way, gang, it might be time for you to leave.
Ooh. When it's completely over?
The reason why I thought this was very interesting and I wanted to put a little tidbit right here is because as a mature married man, the response that LeBron James had to that question is very telling. Because he said when it's really over, as in, alluding to the fact that relationships go through ebbs and flows. There's going to be, parts in the relationship where you feel like you might have had enough or it might have been too much or whatever the case is. And so, he's differentiating between the terminology of somebody who is dating and not used to being in such a long-term commitment like a marriage, and also setting the tone of, the...
Matter of fact, I'll take what I say back because some people do bring out the worst in you. That don't necessarily mean the relationship need to be over. That doesn't mean y'all need to work through it. So I do take that back. But at the same time, if that becomes the whole personality and the whole aspect of the relationship, that's
difference that you're going to go through things in marriages and you might feel like it's overwhelming or too much, or you might want it to be over, but knowing that that's not truly the end of the partnership.
Into somebody and then off them the next day.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
See, that is the scary part about love.
But off them like forever, or you just saying off them for that day?
You're gonna have your ups and downs.
You're gonna have it. If you're in a relationship.
Again, this is something that people who are going to be married have to understand, because there has been this facade of this picture perfect imagery of marriage. And that is one of the grandest demises of marriages of all time, is the anticipation of what people believe it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to entail. And, you have two people who are coming together, forming a union. You have your own background. They have their own background, certain, things that you've learned and picked up and observed from other people around you and them. And so there's going to be times that you are going to bump heads, and you might have, fluctuating feelings. Feelings are fleeting. But you have to make sure that you are aligned in purpose with somebody who understands that you guys are in this for the commitment and for the long haul of the relationship.
Like a lot of people, though, get off people quickly. Like they be so into you and then they be like, okay, I'm done.
Well, they went into you. Then.
Yeah.
And you can't look at it. You can't think like when you look in the mirror like, damn, what did I do?
Oh,
It's them. No, I'm just saying anybody in general. Like, it's gonna be like, what did I do? Like, if they get off you that fast, then it was never meant to be in the first place. So
I love that she brought this question. I mean this perspective to the conversation, because she's saying like there's some people who they see who are into somebody at one moment and then they're quickly uninterested, and he's like, well, obviously they weren't really that into you. And also just to piggyback off of those two things, there's also people who are addicted to the representative. They're addicted to the fun, the butterflies, the thrill, the excitement of somebody new and not knowing. And then once it starts to plateau into a comfortable, peaceful space, they go back and they're chasing that beginning flare with somebody new, somebody fresh. Like you do have people who have those situations. And just as LeBron said, obviously, number one, they weren't that into you. And number two, that's a them thing. You can't always internalize it to yourself. Now, if you are a person who is having that same position happen to you time and time again, I would say that would be a space that you need to self-reflect.
Also, don't speed out of a relationship just because you want to mess with other people. Like, if first off, if you feel like you have to break up because you feel like you're gonna cheat, that's like you shouldn't have been in a relationship in the first place. Like, you shouldn't get out of a relationship just to put yourself back on the market. Like, it needs a better reason than that. You feel me? Yeah.
Because although it could be a them problem, it could also be a you problem. What energy are you giving to them that a lot of people are treating you in that same exact fashion? Maybe it's something that you're doing.
Like, you can get off somebody for the day. You get off somebody for a couple of weeks. That's what relationship is all about. You know, y'all go through ups and downs, but like getting off you and you so in deep with somebody, and then you like, the next day you wake up, you're like, oh, this shit's trash. That's crazy.
Again, he's talking about the reality from somebody who's married, right, for a very long period of time, somebody who has multiple children with his wife and all these things, and even in the space that he's in, he's bringing so much clarity not only to the young man on the panel, but also to whoever is watching of like, this is the truth of what it really entails. And this is a natural flow of marriage. Don't start panicking or think like this is normal.
Ladies, listen to the king. Did you hear? He say, look in the mirror and say what, king? Tell the ladies because they need to know.
Maybe it's just the insecurity in me, but why is she calling him the king in front of his wife? Maybe I'm messy. Maybe I'm messy.
You gotta look in the mirror and say it's not me.
Yeah.
It's
the
not
ladies
me.
need to hear that.
Now, this is so interesting because, he was making a generalized statement, right? And there's men talking and there's women talking. He made a generalized statement and, she was saying something as a woman to him and he was responding back to what she said about somebody being on you and off the next. She was talking about herself, really. And so she then internalized his answer and say, that's obviously not you. That's a them problem. And now she generalized the conversation to women. And so she's like,
That's
okay, ladies, y'all heard what he said. It's not you. It's these men out here. And, when he decided to answer that, I think she was a little taken aback because she was used to the conversation of maybe the pandering to women or the fluffing women up and, not, holding women to any kind of standard or any regard or holding women accountable, And so she was kind of like going in that direction. And he definitely quickly shift gears.
Follow the men too. Yeah, the men too, because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too. Yeah.
She said,
and guys, cutthroat, ruthless, Ayesha Curry. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, gang. I'm just saying. Ayesha Curry has Steph Curry, all these perfect things, but still want more. That is the definition of somebody who should not be in a relationship. I'm just saying.
Hold on a second. Get me some pearls so I can clutch them. Okay? She so quickly clutched her pearls, not only because of him also targeting the conversation to men having to look them in themselves in the mirror and say that it's not them, but also for the terminology that he used in describing a lot of these women out here.
Listen, I sit in the locker room. I'm in locker rooms and shit now, but it's a lot of women out here that's now kind of flipped the script.
They go for it.
And some homies out here that's trying to be good too, and just trying to figure it out. And now they looking in the mirror saying, "Damn, what did I do wrong?" Homies, it ain't you.
I'm not gonna lie. He said he's been in locker rooms and then there's some really good men out here and all of a sudden these women are flipping the script and you have these really good men who are looking around saying, well, what did I do wrong? You can't tell me, okay? It would have to be LeBron to tell me like, hey, I really was not talking about him. But it would have to be LeBron alone to look me in my face and tell me he is not talking about Steph and Ayesha Curry. Sorry.
Crazy take.
Sorry.
That's not a crazy take.
I could be being a little bit presumptuous.
You're
I
not.
could be making, my own educated guess. He did not clarify and call names, but
It's okay.
based off of the climate of conversations that is going on right now, currently today. I don't know when they filmed that, but even still, this rings the same tune of the Ayesha and the Steph Curry, where it seems like this man is a good guy, stable man, faithful man, family man, and it's still not enough.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl, and that's it.
So you end up meeting your now wife when you guys were 14, 15 years old in a church group. You end up starting to date when you're in college. Why get married so young?
Why waste time if you found the right one, right?
After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughter so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. I have goals for myself. Like, this doesn't feel right.
I also have
I ain't gonna lie. Every time I hear that, it's like your goals never halted. Like you gave birth, you were still able to do what you wanted to do. You have a own cooking show. Your husband has made outlets for you to do pretty much whatever you wanted with unlimited resources. But yet you don't have goals. Like or you had goals that you wanted to do and you're acting as if you couldn't reach those goals. To be honest, you probably surpassed them. I'm just saying.
to say that I think that in a lot of these conversations about Ayesha and Steph Curry, a lot of people believe that, it's only because of Ayesha Curry and people are hating on her, or people just don't want to see her doing good, or because she's just a woman who's telling the truth. And that's not really what it is. I think the point of the matter is that, we are, men alone are witnessing situations that they can relate to. Doesn't matter how large or how different the scale is. They can relate to being in relationships with women and doing as much as you can and her being okay with it. And then all of a sudden she wakes up, she's not okay with it and still complaining over what exactly? Like, a lot of men can relate to that in dealings with women. So it's like, what do you want for real?
I now too have the same questions the late great DMX once had about these. What do they really want from
all of the things that Ayesha Curry, kind of was complaining about in the podcast? She is actually leveraged in a position to be able to do all that she wants to do and then some. And more than that. She has nannies available. She has resources available. She has, I think, some Michelin star restaurants. She has cookbooks. She has the ability to do way more than what she's doing. The only thing that it could be is that her name is not as big as his. That's the only thing it could be.
That's exactly what it is.
I don't see how it could be anything other than that.
I feel like people do need to hear that, because I feel like a lot of times the fear of being alone or growing feels so foreign, especially for men of color, that they just shy away from it and do what's easy. But what's easy typically is toxic.
Why? I ain't gonna lie. Respectfully, that is true. But I don't appreciate how she continues to target one group. Let's talk about entirety. And I understand you're a woman and you can only talk from a woman's perspective, but try to relate. Just a little bit.
So I definitely agree with what she's saying, right? I definitely understand the angle in which she's coming from.
And don't make it seem like it's a guy thing. It's a everything. It's a everybody thing.
But I think there's a caveat to that conversation where, men don't just stay because it's easy. Men often don't get support if they decide to leave. Right. Okay, a woman can be the problem in the relationship and she leaves a relationship and people will blame the man. A woman can be a victim in the relationship and they're still going to blame the man. So women have a lot of support, resources, people who are going to take her side. If she decides to initiate the divorce, and leave the relationship, if she cheats, whatever it is, women get a lot of that support. Men don't have that same situation. Men are more community based. Yes. Right? And so everybody's going to kind of like, man, you took this responsibility, man, you're not supposed to leave your responsibilities out there. Like, men are held to a different standard, and it does lead them in that toxic, kind of cycle, sometimes way longer than they should necessarily be there. So I understand what she's saying, but also it's not just a space that men are in, sometimes because they necessarily want to be in there. It's that they don't have an out, that they've seen that men have created that out and been successful at that. It's normally always gone left. It's a rare cause where men can leave situations and, have the strength alone to move through or push through without everybody else's support. And that's a very factual and actual truth.
I know I don't want to be alone. That's for damn sure. If I got to fight, call, scratch, fight, whatever to keep mine, I got to keep it. I got to do what I got to do. I don't want to be alone. I'm an only child, single parent household. I knew for sure.
I love what LeBron said here, and you know why? Because this is something I tell women all the time, is that when you are in the vetting process, you need to get with somebody who wants what you want. And not trying to force people to want what you want, but by their actions, by the things that they're telling you, by the conversation that they're having, you need to align yourself. A lot of times people on a whole get into relationships and try to morph people into being something that they genuinely do not want to be. That's why I think it's so important to be observant, to take note of what they're saying, to, get to know them for real. And if you know that person and if you love that person for who they are and you want to be in that, have that person be in your life for the long haul, great. But don't try to get into their situation with somebody and their core values don't align with yours and try to make them be somebody else. But again, I love that he not only called out that situation, I love that he also, called out women. Okay, again, we're gonna have to replay what it is that he said.
Because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too.
Yeah.
And again, I love that he said that. I love that he said that because a lot of times there's so many conversations from men who are married that are, leading to the lines of women of, they're so this and they're so perfect and women can do no wrong and we should be bowed down and kissing their feet. I love that he did not lead into that or placate into that kind of conversation, because people always talk about, the beauty of their marriage. And seeing the way that, Savannah moves with such grace and poise, and, she knows her space and she owns her space, and
that's another thing. In relationships, you should never try to belittle your partner. Like, it's one thing to joke around and maybe have little jokes every now and then, make fun of each other, that's cool. But never be disrespectful. There's always an effective way to get your point across without being disrespectful. You shouldn't have to attack them as a woman, or you shouldn't have to attack them as a man, or that's just gonna cause the downfall to speed up. And I realize that from personal experience.
People look at her and admire her in a certain way. Look at the way that her husband thinks, and so then hearing that, a lot of the conversations that you hear out here from these men who are red-pilled or, holding women accountable or whatever, all of a sudden these conversations don't seem so crazy. Because here he is, this man that you look at their marriage in a certain way and you look at her a certain way, and you see that he has an understanding of self-respect for himself. Men deserve respect and women deserve respect. It's not women deserve respect, and then, happy wife, happy life. It's not that same conversation. I love that he said that. I really, really love that he said that. I really do. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below.
But thank you so much, my baby. That was a great video. But I think LeBron did a very good job, though he did. He got a little vulgar. I don't use words like that, but he did get a little vulgar. But he got his point across, and I feel like y'all should take into consideration everything that was said, and don't just make this a man-woman thing. Make this a general person thing. But it's your boy 3 Stacks. I'm gonna keep it 3,000. Love y'all. Like, share, and subscribe, man. And on to the next one. Peace.
I got big packs coming on the way. I got big stacks coming out to save. I got Lil Max with me, he the way. It's a big gap between us and the game. In the next life, I'm trying to stay paid. When I die,